So today we go to questions. We have only 4 questions. Sometimes when attention is not settled, I hold my breath after exhaling in a non-forceful manner. Is it a suitable way to bring attention back? Well, learning meditation is learning wisdom. And this wisdom of meditation is different from the wisdom we usually use in daily life. There is a saying in the Dhammapada, Anya labu upanisa anya nibbana gamini etat yatha bhutam nyatva savako hoti buddhasa, which says there is a different way to nirvana and there is a different way to worldly profit, labha. When one understands it as it really is, then one is the disciple of the Buddha. So usually we are concerned with our own benefit, how to get the best job, how to get the best wife, how to get the best children, how to get the best food, how to get the best possible enjoyments. And this is how we are programmed. But in meditation the things are different. We do not want really any sensual enjoyment. What we want is wisdom. So one has to experiment. In order to attain wisdom, one has to experiment. If one method works or work for some time, in the sense that one can keep the mindfulness and awareness and clear mind, then it is a good method. If it doesn't work, then one has to try something different. But if it does not work now, it may work after some time. So rather than making very rapid judgments, what is suitable, what is good, and what is bad, one should keep on experimenting and keep on experimenting with the mind. Trying to understand the different connections. In the mind, everything gets connected, but in the reality, we actually divide everything. but it is a mind which puts things together. So sometimes it may work with in-breath, sometimes with out-breath, sometimes with both in-breath and out-breath. So if one experiments, one will find the optimal way to keep the mindfulness and awareness clear. So now we are talking about the stages of shamatha. So we have so far explained very clearly that the forceful attention will not solve our problems. It is the mindfulness which will bring us further. When mindfulness is there, we will distinguish what is appropriate, what is wholesome. Understanding what is appropriate, what is wholesome, is also awareness. So the mindfulness and awareness then will join together. According to the Buddhist tradition, the part of awareness is knowing what is sātika, what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. Knowing what is skillful and what is not skillful. Knowing what concentrates the mind and what does not concentrate the mind. And also, all these three aspects lead to the most important aspect of awareness, which is the non-delusion aspect. The non-delusion aspect is that whatever we hang our mind on is definitely connected with impermanence. And our expression of delusion is of holding to the impermanence. So when we can detach and use our skillful means, it is bound to work. When we don't detach and use the skillful means, it definitely will not work. It can work for a short time, but after some time, if we hold to it, it will lead to frustration again. So we practice mindfulness to get this detached attitude. Then we can use awareness, which is another word for wisdom, to understand what is suitable and what is not suitable. What is the difference between mindfulness and awareness? That is a very good question, and it is worthwhile to meditate on it. The different traditions, they have different aspects of explaining. Oh. Okay, it will hold. Anyway, mindfulness means that the mind does not wobble. How do we know we are mindful? We know we are mindful because the mind does not shake. It has a firm perception. If the mind is shaking, then it will go to any object that emerges in the horizon. And it will go to that object which makes a most obvious impact on the mind. So when the mind does not shake, we are remembering. If the mind is not shaking, we are not. If the mind is shaking, we even don't remember what is our mind attending. What object is our mind attending to? We even not clearly conscious. So we do one thing and we think about other things. This situation is called Mushita Smriti, the stolen memory. Smriti means literally memory. The literal meaning of mindfulness is memory. We translate it mindfulness, but in Sanskrit or in Chinese, it means memory. But when we speak of memory, we usually associate it with past events. But the mindfulness in the meditative sense is the mindfulness of the present object of attention. We have explained that the mindfulness, the Buddhist psychology compares mindfulness to a rudder of the boat of the mind. You know rudder? Rudder is that what gives boat the direction. So if you hold firmly the rudder in the hand, then the boat will go straight. And if you don't hold the rudder firmly in the hand, the boat will go wherever the stream will take it. If stream goes to the right, it will go to the right. If to left, it will go to the left. So mindfulness has to do with attending to the object. When the mindfulness has a function, we attend to the object with firmness. With the mindfulness has no function, we attend to the object without firmness, so we go wherever object appears. And this situation causes a lot of trouble. Because we are like this, we then identify with our emotions rather than investigate our emotions. We identify with our sensations rather than investigate our sensations. So when the object has some qualities we like, we identify with our liking. If it has some qualities we don't like, we identify with our disliking. And we indulge into the series of thought. One thought will follow the other. So, how to prevent this process? By holding the attention, the rudder of the boat, the attention firmly. So, in this case, this will not happen because we will be remembering our present object, be it an object of the five senses or the mental object which emerges from the mind. So, when mindfulness has functioned, the perception and the feeling will become very clear. If the mindfulness has no function, perception and sensation is not clear and changing all the time. We have mentioned that in Buddhism, perception is the cause of sensation, and sensation is the cause of the worldly mind. And they are called together the formations of the mind. They form the mind. Mind is basically formed by our perceptions and sensations. In the Buddhist scriptures it is explained that what the mind discerns and what the mind is dependent on is the sensations. So the mind works by attending to the sensations. And by attending to the sensations, it creates karma and it creates the prapancha. The prapancha means silun. Silun means the chains of thoughts. This Chinese translation of prapancha is very significative. The si means to enjoy and lun means the actually here differentiation. We enjoy all kinds of differentiations based on sensations. It is a very free translation. The Chinese translators, they did not try, like the Tibetans, to coin the exact meanings, but they translated according to the real function. So when mindfulness is not there, we engage in all kinds of thoughts of enjoying the differentiations of sensations. And this is the essence of the monkey mind. So that is how we create the karma, by greed and by the complex of greed and anger. And if we don't have greed and anger, then we have non-peaceful mind, and we have excited mind. So we search for an object. All this is because the mindfulness has not clear function. When mindfulness has a clear function, we are checking this process. And we check it by holding the rudder of the boat of mind, attention, firmly. So that we continually bring to mind the object of our attention, so that the rudder stays stable. So if this happens, the mind does not shake, the mind does not wobble. And it does not mean we are not noticing all kinds of objects, all kinds of sounds, colors, people around us. But they will not change our attention. So the mindfulness does not mean that we cling to object of our attention. It means we perceive it clearly and we broaden our mind. That is why it is translated into English very appropriately, mindfulness. So practicing concentration does not mean really hanging on the object. It means perceiving the object clearly and broadening the sphere of our perception. So if we can do like this, then the clarity will arise. This clarity means awareness. The Buddha explains awareness like the light illumining the objects. So it is a synonym, awareness is a synonym of wisdom. And in all cultures, the symbol of wisdom is a lamp. In Europe also, the lamp is a symbol of wisdom. Many universities have lamp as their symbol. So giving light, since we are talking about meditation, giving light to the mind, that is awareness. And because of this awareness, then we can remove obstacles of the mind. If the awareness is not there, we won't be able to remove obstacles to the mind, because our mind is not clear, so how can it remove obstacles? So the obstacles will remain, and because they remain, they will eat away our mindfulness. So the mindfulness, if it does not lead to awareness, will not be strong. So it will be like in Buddhism, we are differentiating the right mindfulness and the wrong mindfulness. The tiger and the cat are very, very mindful. We should learn from them. If you can walk like a tiger, like a cat, you are really mindful. But if you use the mind of the cat or of the tiger, this is a wrong mindfulness. If you use the mindfulness to bring awareness to the mind, that is the right mindfulness. The cat will be very, very mindful of the hole, the mice hole. But if another mice comes from behind, it will not be able to keep any of the mindfulness on the object. It will immediately run to the other object. Because it cannot illumine the mind. It is concerned with what we have called labha, personal gain. Labha, personal gain. Gain. Ta. So we have to learn, practice mindfulness not like a cat, tiger, lion, but like the saints. They are fulfilled with the objects of their attention, but their mind is not fixed anywhere. Why? The literal meaning of awareness in Sanskrit is samprajanya, which literally means, very difficult to translate, means ability to put things together by wisdom. Pragya means wisdom, sam means together. So when we have ability to put things by wisdom, we have awareness. And how we put things together by wisdom. When laziness arises in the mind, we use the antidotes we have learned. When mindfulness weakens, we use the antidotes. We strengthen the force of our perception. When the mind becomes excited, we use the antidotes. We concentrate it. We let it go. And we make it clear again. When the mind is sinking, then we have to investigate the object. We have to bring desire into our meditation, search for the object. We have to bring will, desire for the object. So all this is done by awareness. If we put too much effort into our practice, the mind will become excited. So we have to balance the effort with concentration. If we put too much concentration and don't balance it with investigation of the object, with wisdom, then the mind is bound to sink. If we put too much faith into our practice and don't balance it with concentration and wisdom, then again excitement will come. All the positive faculties, they have to be in balance. The more awareness, the more balance. So, for that we need mindfulness. The Buddha explained mindfulness is sabba atika in Pali. Means mindfulness, the other positive mental factors, wisdom, concentration, faith, effort, they can be in access and make the balance of the mind not clear. But as far as mindfulness is concerned, it is never in access. That is why it is convenient on any occasion. But the other mental factors helping us, they are not to be used in any occasion. They have to be used with awareness on proper occasion. So, because of right mindfulness, we can practice the right awareness. If we practice right mindfulness and right awareness, the mind remains pure. This is what is to be learned. Why does some people something, I don't know what. they die or before die. I can't read this. Sorry. When? It is when? Why does some people, when they die or before die, they see dead relatives in Bardo? Well, this is not a question which has directly to do with our meditation. We are not dying yet, and we are meditating. And normally you see when you die, unless you have done some very powerful karma, positive karma like the dhyanas, samadhi, or negative karma that you have learned, like killing your mother, father, arahat, and so on. So you're going to see what is your habitual, and because we are most closely connected with our mothers and fathers, they in us evoke the strongest emotions, brothers, sisters. If somebody harms someone we don't know, we won't get excited. But if somebody harms our father or mother, we will get very excited. So naturally, when we go to Bardo, we will, unless we have some very powerful karma, we will see the habitual objects of our attachments or dislike. That is why you have learned from Rinpoche, when somebody dies, you should not cry. That will only make the situation of the dying person more difficult. You said that the mental consciousness perceive the mental images. What are mental images? Are like vision, any experience? Actually, everything you see mostly is a mental image, but it is difficult to understand at this stage unless you have some experience in meditation. The table that you see is a mental image. This Dhammadipa that you see is also your mental image. The wall that you see is also a mental image. And who creates these mental images? The mental consciousness. The eye only sees the color. The ear only hears this sound. It does not know airplane. The nose only smells. It does not know it is the smell of what object. When you taste, the tongue only knows sweet or salty. It does not know anything about the orange jam or honey, or this is all the images of mental consciousness. The mental consciousness put things together. The five senses can't do it. So the five senses are directly linked to the base consciousness. But the honey and orange jam and table and Dhammadipa, they are the result of our images in the sixth consciousness. They do not come directly from the basic consciousness. They come through the filtering of the individualizing consciousness. So some of us may like orange jam, others will like the mixed jam, others will choose the whatever jam is there. I don't know. All this is not the distinguish what the tongue distinguishes, it is what the mental consciousness distinguishes. Based on our individualizing mind. So now we have the 15 minutes for meditation, so let us just do it. Now these concepts should be slowly becoming clear, so I hope you can use them in daily life to improve the quality of your lives. This is what is meditation meant for. Aka satta chabumatha deva naga mahidika punyantang anumoditva chiramrakantu lokasasana. Aka satta chabumatha deva naga mahidika punyantang anumoditva chiramrakantu desana. Aka satta chabumatha deva naga mahidika punyantang anumoditva chiramrakantu tumampara. Eta vata chame sampadam punya sampadam. 愿此功德普及一切我等一众生皆共成佛道。May the merits we have gained spread to all beings so that myself and them together attain the Buddhahood. Thank you.